Since we did the last DVD, we've been very busy. The Porto office has really taken off. We get UK employers at least twice a month, mostly 3 times a month visiting. So that makes for a very busy office. At least a HR person and a clinical person will go. Many times it's 2 clinical, 2 HR. They interview about 12 people, per couple, so to speak. You've got your HR person, your clinical person, then meet about 12 candidates each day. Then of course there's the job offers and the scheduling, so busy.
Well, there are a number of interesting developments with BPL, and these are 2 of the more exciting opportunities that are presented right now. In relation to Saudi Arabia, we're looking at recruitment principally from the Portuguese and Spanish markets for nursing staff with a minimum of 3 years experience for contract positions in Saudi Arabia. It's a very attractive package, and especially with economic conditions on the ground in some countries now, a lot of nurses are looking at their options. Essentially what's available is a contract with a tax-free salary, which is attractive. It also includes accommodation and three meals a day in a modern, well-equipped hospital. The position also includes flights and at the end of the contract, and really we feel it's an opportunity for nurses to go abroad, probably save a considerable amount as they will find that they've very little that they need to spend their money on, and also to gain valuable experience at the current time. In relation to France, what we find in both Spain and Portugal as well is that a number of the nurses in those markets have come from families which have got French backgrounds. Very often we find therefore that their language skills in French are very good. So we are working through our Porto and Lisbon offices currently to supply those markets with French-speaking candidates, and we had a recruitment event for that market just a couple of weeks ago, and it was very well received. So we're looking to develop that further. And we're also fortunate in that within Best Personnel we have French-speaking, and indeed a large number of actually multilingual staff, which will help us considerably in supplying those needs and the appropriate levels of language skills that are necessary for those positions.
We've got different ways of finding candidates. First of all, we look for them in our existing database. We also place regularly advertisements on the website for job search. There are different websites, many of them, and actually quite a lot of candidates find our job offers on the internet. We also organize regularly events at nursing schools, so presentations where we meet not only newly qualified but also experienced nurses. And we also find quite a lot of candidates through social networks like Facebook and Twitter. We were actually developing our Facebook page last week quite a lot. We also try to establish a relationship with different nursing bodies.
Send a CV by email and to any of our offices, and we liaise fairly quickly with each other, and we'll get moving on it.
To come to Ireland, this was 4 years ago more or less. I was finished my degree. By the time my boyfriend he was finished as well, so we were planning to move abroad. My boyfriend is a nurse, so we met Best Personnel, and we will start the process with them, and so this is why we came over to Ireland.
It really is just a method of making sure that somebody who says they're a nurse in Portugal or Spain or wherever really is a nurse. So they have to present all their documents to the NMC. The NMC check them thoroughly. They just want to make sure they've got a real nurse. You can't work as a nurse without the NMC. Now, sometimes the employer will suggest that a candidate works as a care assistant while they wait for the NMC. Now, that's really a great situation because the candidate gets some income not as much as if she were working as a nurse, but some income, learns the UK system, the vocabulary, the way things are done. It's beneficial for all, I think.
First of all, I think it's important the registration process. In Ireland or UK, they have first to look for information about it. In Ireland, you look information for onboard alternates, and the process in Ireland takes a little bit more time, around 4 to 6 months. So I think most important is try to look and start to get information for the registration, and then can contact best personnel.
Well, very good communicative English. There's no formal English exam. You don't have to have the IELTS or anything like that, but your English will be judged at interview, and you won't pass an interview unless your English is good. Realistically, if you can't communicate with the patients, well, it's over. There's a big requirement amongst the private nursing home sector. There's always a requirement for specialities like theatre nurses, scrub nurses. That's about it at the moment.
In Ireland, we really need nurses, definitely. As we say it in the news, the situation of the employment in Ireland is pretty bad for general recruitment, but for nurses, we need nurses, definitely.
Sometimes they ask for about a year, 18 months. Sometimes they will accept graduates. It very much depends on the employer. It also depends on the candidate's presentation at the interview. Even if a candidate hasn't had a proper job, so to speak, if they've done relevant voluntary work, it's a good idea.
I had about 18 months of experience in the hospital and about 2 years in the nursing home.
Contact in Spain. Every day of the week we're Skyping from the office here to Spain, and we will have offices there, I would say, before the end of the year, at least in Madrid and somewhere else as well. France is another one. Just recently we sent a little group of Portuguese nurses to France for interviews. Sylvia accompanied them to a clinic in the south of France, so that's another growing area for us. The other interesting thing about France is you don't have to register with a special authority like the NMC or the Irish Nursing Board. They will accept your Portuguese or your Spanish registration, which is wonderful.
For the experience, especially young nurses, it's a wonderful experience to have. Especially you can improve your English. You discover different people, different nationality, and also the salary is definitely much higher than in France. That's why it's important, and they can, like this, they can save money and start again a new life in Ireland or come back in France after and have more experience and get a better job then.
I was doing an English course, so I spent 2 months doing the course, and then I started looking for a job, and it took me a month. Back then my English, it wasn't really good, but no more than 1 month I found a job. My boyfriend, when he came, he had a job already. Even before he came to Ireland, Best found a position for him, and he came with a contract already. So it was okay, it was perfect.
I started in a position as a staff nurse in a nursing home. I worked there for about 11 months, and then I was offered the position as a clinical nurse manager, which I took by the time. And then I worked there for another 9 months, and then this other position came up, and I took it as well. Like at the moment I'm a dialysis nurse. I work for a private clinic who supports 2 main hospitals in Dublin. Yeah, that was one of the things. We by the time we were in Portugal, we were already looking for houses, looking for cars, trying to check all the cost of living, electricity bills, water bills, bins and all that, and we thought that would be really expensive. The house we rented by the time was 1,300 euros, which was really expensive. We thought, okay, this this is very expensive. But then comparing to our salaries, it's actually not that expensive. And at the moment, the same house, the price now is around 900 euros, which is, for the quality, I would say it's the same price as an apartment in Lisbon. The tax system, I find it more fair here. We have basically two rates, 20% and 41%, and we are entitled to, until 34 at the moment, 34,000 a year. We only pay 20%, and those 20 we get back part of that for the rent and all the income tax and all that. So at the end it's about 10% of what we earn as nurses here. So if I earn, let's say, 40,000 in 1 year, I might end up paying 4,000, maybe 5,000, depending on what expenses I have.
It's really cosmopolitan city. You have Spanish, Italian, Russian, I don't know, Swedish people from everywhere. So if you go to a pub, you will meet different nationality, and it's definitely international. One day I met people from Norway or Australian people. People are definitely nicer than in France. For example, if in Paris you're lost, you ask someone to get your direction, they do not stop there, like just ignoring you, or they say, oh no, I don't understand English, or I don't understand what you say, I don't know where is it. And in Ireland, you are in the street, you are lost, you have your map, and people stop and they say, do you need help? So this is the difference. People are very nice, kindly, friendly, and that's why I like it also.
It's different the way we socialize in Portugal than here. Here there's a huge culture of the pubs, and like I would find the restaurants much more full here than they are in Portugal. The pubs and nightclubs, nightlife. There's a lot of theaters and cinemas and museums and a lot of that stuff that we actually used to enjoy in Portugal as well. But here we find it, the offer is even bigger than it was there. It's much cheaper to fly from here to pretty much everywhere, so for whoever likes to travel, it's quite good, because that's what we've been doing. Me as a nurse, one of the best things, and that was one of the main things for me, was I wanted to kind of have some quality of life, which I didn't have in Lisbon. I was actually paying for all my bills, of course, but I was working in 2 full-time jobs, so at least 80 hours a week I was working. So most of my week was actually work. So by the time I had some free time to socialize and to enjoy myself and to enjoy my things, I didn't really have that will, you know. Or if I was doing something, sometimes I wouldn't have the joy of it because I was already tired. Now I kind of have good quality of life, and I have free time, and I kind of can do whatever I want and enjoy the time I spend. That's what we kind of found here. We have much more money to spend, and things might be a bit more expensive, but at the end we have the money and we have the time. So these two things are actually what we were looking for.